story. Britney Spears. Britney Spears's father was appointed her conservator of her estate back in 2008. Well, she wants him replaced with a financial institution. Los Angeles Superior Court denied her request. She alleged that she was overworked without any breaks, medicated with lithium, apparently against her wishes, and prohibited from having more kids because they did not allow her to remove her birth control. Her father denied those claims and said that the co-conservator oversaw those matters. And so they're going back and forth. He's asked for it to be investigated. Here's my struggle with this whole thing. Everybody knows that some years ago, Britney Spears had a very public meltdown. I do not know what the diagnosis is. I do not know if it is bipolar disorder or one of the other mood disorders. I have no idea.
That lithium, we know it was something like that.
Lithium is typically prescribed for bipolar disorder. It is a mood stabilizer. And for those of you listening to the show, because you hear lithium and everybody's like, lithium?
Me too.
Okay.
That's such an old medication. It's such an old medication.
Lots of people still take lithium. I know. It is an old medication. People do not be scared of lithium. First thing, let me just say, not that I'm saying that Britney Spears should have been forced to take it. Lithium is an old school medication that is a mood stabilizer for people who have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Usually at this time, when they pull out lithium, it's because the newer medications have been ineffective with the person. And so they're like, look, we got to go old school. It's kind of like if a person doesn't respond to modern antidepressants, they pull out Prozac and Zoloft. Like, it's time to go old school, right?
Or, by her being an entertainer, they might have just really skipped that, because guess what? You got to be on that stage and make that money for all of us.
Well, and according to her, they made her make that money and she didn't get a break, and they dropped lithium on her.
I believe it. I believe it.
Right. And so I don't know why they went with lithium.
Question. Do you see, and I'm just saying myself, I see a lot of the entertainers having a lot of mental health issues. I mean, and then I was thinking, for you to act, okay, I'm just going to go with the comedians. For them to act as ignorant as they do.
Well, and among comedians, when comedians have done full disclosure about mental health issues, the most common diagnosis that I tend to hear is bipolar disorder.
Bipolar disorder.
I'm not going to throw out a bunch of names, but it is a common diagnosis. My issue with
listen, you don't have to throw out a bunch. Just throw out one. Martin Lawrence. But he's funny as heck, though.
Martin did have an issue years ago. Here's the problem I'm having.
Richard Pryor.
All of these other celebrities have not had conservatorship put in place to control their money. And the average person in society, because I know people who have meltdowns on a monthly basis, nobody's stepping in and controlling their work, controlling their finances,
they don't have multi-millions either.
Well, this is true, but it's their money.
But it's their money.
That's her money. She's like
this.
It's
really a controlling issue with her dad.
Well, yes, and the judge is supporting it, and just because
he probably gave the judge some money.
You said she should have paid the judge off.
She should have paid the judge off. Her daddy did.
Somebody probably paid the judge off.
Exactly.
Just because this woman is a multimillionaire does not mean she should be subjected to someone stepping in and controlling her life.
Everything.
All the way down to birth control.
Yeah. If I want to have another baby.
That ain't right.
It's not right.
So hopefully this gets straightened out. It is unfortunate because a lot of times people look at celebrity life and think, well, why are they complaining? They should be perfectly happy. They have millions of dollars. Well, they struggle with mental health issues just as everyone else does.
They are still an individual. Chemical imbalances.
And being a celebrity does not like prohibit you or give you a gold pass on struggling with mental health issues. But at the same time, being a celebrity should not put you in a position where you are subjected to some form of, she's describing a modern day, slavery situation. They worked her and controlled her money. That's not right.
Okay, massa.
That's not right. And hopefully something can be done about that. Like I said, all these other celebrities who have had public meltdowns, comedians, spinning around in the street, waving guns around.
Butt naked.
I didn't know about butt naked.
Yeah, run down the street butt naked.
Okay, and nobody controlled their money afterwards. And so I'm wondering if a part of this is because of gender, because she's female, because these male celebrities who have had meltdowns, they have not been subjected to this. I have no idea what this is about.
I'm trying to think, a couple of women have had meltdowns. I really believe that this is her father being controlling. Which, guess what? Can I put my little therapist hat on a little bit? Come on, my what you call yourself? I'm sorry, well-pronounced dietitian. It sounds like
I'm going to make you learn this word before it's all said and done. I think
I'm going to learn it. I mean, me trying to look at the family history. If I was to look at that family history, I'll be saying, okay, was this some type of abuse in that home? Because why are you still trying to control your daughter at almost 40 years old?
Well, you said before it's because of the money.
No, I think it's bigger than the money. I think it was some type of abuse going on, physical, sexual, psychological, and I think it's been going on for a while, even as she is a daughter, because they were divorced.
The parents.
Her mom, and I believe that she lived with her father. That her father took her.
Well, financial control over a person is a form of domestic violence, as we have covered before. Yes. So I'm wondering why this judge, basically, you can commit this particular form of domestic violence as long as you go through the courts and have a judge support it. Because
this is terrible.
Go ahead, Stacy.
I was just saying this is really terrible. And she's wanting to get an executor over her estate, which is not her father. Why not? Why not?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, somebody done paid the judge, and y'all can give this to the judge. Judge, you're wrong. Speaking of Unspeakable with JP and Stacy D.
She's speaking the unspeakable right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
The judge is wrong.
Stacy D, did you have any mental health and illness stories in the news before we get to 50 Dating 22?
I do. And hello, listeners. This is going to get JP on fire. I've been giving him on fire for the last 12 hours.
Go ahead, Stacy D. Tell this story.
Thank you, Bill Cosby. Free at last. Free at last. Bill Cosby is free.
Why is Bill Cosby free, Stacy D? Do you know why Bill Cosby's free?
No, I just got the email to say I didn't have time to look it up.
Okay, because the fool is not free because
everything got dropped.
He's not free because he was innocent.
We don't know that.
Bill Cosby got free because his rights of due process were violated, which is a procedural issue that has nothing to do with the facts of his crime.
And they had
Here's basically what happened. A previous DA did not file charges against Bill Cosby way back when this all should have been addressed.
She got paid. Check her bank statements.
A later DA who did file charges. Well, by the time the charges were filed, basically it became an issue of the statute of limitations. And that is the technicality in which Bill Cosby has gotten released early, is because statute of limitations came into play. Just the age, the age of the charges and that whole thing. Dozens of accusers are in shock. And of course, Bill Cosby released a video denying his guilt, saying he wasn't guilty in the first place. Here's the problem that I have with this, because Stacy D, you happy that Bill Cosby got released, but I'm telling you, okay. HLN showed the faces of over 30 female victims. And as I looked at the faces of all them female victims, I was able to see, representatives of my mother, my sister, my daughter. I do not care if a person is Black. I don't care if they famous. I don't care about anything. If you drugging and raping women, you deserve to rot in prison or hell or both. So I'm livid that because of dates and, statute of limitation, because of dates and a previous DA failing to do his job, that this man got off on a technicality. Now, Stacy D, you who are happy to Bill Cosby free, would you be happy Bill Cosby was free if he was white?
Yes. If he was, on what ground? I think he did a lot. I think Bill Cosby has done a lot in the community.
Dozens of women drugged and raped.
I am a woman.
That's why I'm trying to figure out why you happy that Bill Cosby got free. I bet you ain't gonna send your daughter to his house, will you? Send her.
That's not the type of mother I am. But I do want.
But he should be free for other people's daughters.
No, that's on your parenting. And I do want to say
these were grown women, Stacy D.
Exactly.
Even a couple of celebrities. Mm-hmm. These were full-grown women. There's
two stories. I was not there, but I do want to say that I have been a groupie before.
Well, the jury heard the whole story and found him guilty.
Oh, okay, whatever. But I'm glad he's out.
But you won't send your daughters to his house to hang out.
I'll be with him.
He'll drug you.
Negative.
You think because you Stacy D, you can't get drugged and raped by Bill Cosby? Bill Cosby been looking for you, Stacy D.
It was the booty. Negative. But check this out. I was a groupie. I have been to the big parties with Derek, and I love the Chiefs players. The older ones.
I don't understand being a groupie. I don't understand.
Because I think a lot of them women were groupies. Even the celebrity women. Bill Cosby was really, really big.
Okay, even if a person is a groupie, that means it's okay to drug and rape them?
Number one.
Even if they were groupies.
It doesn't matter where. You can get drugged and raped right here in Kansas City at the Juke House.
And it ain't okay there either.
And it's not okay. But that's on you being aware of you and your surroundings, that you always know what you're doing. Sorry, my dad.
Are you blaming? Oh Lord, Stacy D's blaming.
I'm not blaming the women, but you do.
You are blaming the victims, Stacy D.
You know what? I'm just telling you that you need to be mindful of your surroundings. My father told me a long time ago, when I was like 13, 14 years old, and he would just tell me that you have to be aware of your surroundings and know what to do. Like, that's one of the reasons why I don't indulge in alcohol or anything, because I always want my mind to know what I'm doing. And that's one of the reasons why I don't, indulge in extracurricular things like that, because I want to have my mind right and I know what I'm doing. If I'm acting a fool and having a good time, because I had a lot of men at the club think because I'm kicking it, and you know how we used to kick it back in the day, that they thought I was full-fledged drunk and they tried to take advantage of me.
But some of these women, these incidents did not happen at clubs. And if you think about it, if you are at the home of Bill Cosby, who has sat in judgment of all these other comedians for using foul language and this and that, I can understand these women having a false sense of security. Well, Bill Cosby, who doesn't even use the N-word or curse, who has a doctorate degree in education, surely I am safe here with Bill Cosby, America's TV dad. I can understand them thinking that they were safe and he drugged them. They did think they knew their surroundings because he presented himself as this high and mighty person who was elevated above such things as even using profanity, but he's drugging and raping women for decades.
And once again, I was brought up in the home not to sit on no man's lap. I couldn't even sit on my father's lap.
Who said they were sitting on his?
No, it's just telling you about the whole thing.
Stacy D, are you through blaming these rape victims? Because we got to move on. You already silenced our friends in the group text. Stacy D, you already silenced our friends in the group text.
On men's laps.
Okay, I don't know how you concluded that these women was sitting on this man's lap. This man, he drugged and raped these women. I'm saying this. The views of this show are not the views of KUAW Radio. The views of Stacy D are not the views of JP Craddock. So
we have to disagree on some things.
To all my female family members,
think that we were staged.
And my sister watching this show, my sister like, I know he ain't agreeing with it.
Okay,
to all my female family
as long as
members,
I can get me some peach cobbler on the 4th of July, I'll be through there, big sister Stephanie.
Let me tell you, my sister's like, oh, Stacy D's okay with me getting raped, drugged and raped by Bill Cosby. You got to be cut off of the cob.
Peach cobbler. And listen, I just want to let y'all know that I'm a foodie. I'm a connoisseur, okay? And I really love peach cobbler because I can make a bad peach cobbler myself. So, people be talking about this peach cobbler. Like, what? That was a good peach cobbler, because we have peach cobblers that people do not cook the peaches or season the peaches. Crust was right, nice and buttery.
She makes 2 cobblers a year. That's it. So
when's the next one? At Christmas? Oh, she's like me with the bread pudding.
She made one for my birthday. So there may not be another cobbler till next Thanksgiving.
Okay, I'll be there. So let's get on to our question of the day.
I need you to make a cobbler because that's a long time to go without peach cobbler.
Yeah, I love peach cobbler.
Okay, our question of the day. I thought a lot about this. I met a much younger man and he's been pursuing me. He's 22. I'm 50. Is this so terrible? Stacy D, what are your thoughts on this?
My oldest son is older than 22.
Okay. But some young 22s have checked out Stacy D.
All the time. Just yesterday, I was going to my daughter-in-law's office, and this little guy, he opened the door because you have to call to get into the office, and I called, and he was like, "Can I see your phone?" I said, "For what?" And he was nice looking. Don't get it twisted. I'm like, "For what?" He was like, "Because I want to put my number in there so you can call me sometime." I'm like, "Boo-boo."
That's the line of a 22-year-old.
I look a whole lot older than what I am. I said, "How old are you?" He said, 32. I said, "Well, guess what? I have 2 daughters. One that look like me and one is built up like me. Which one you want?" because I forgot we PG-13, but I did tell him, I'm like, everything that I have birthed, which I said something else, but because it's PG-13,
Oh, I know what you said.
I said, everything that I have birthed is older than you. So what make you think that I want you? But even as growing up, I have two little brothers. One brother was 2 years younger than me, and my other brother is 5 years younger than me. And my baby brother used to always, because I'm the big sister. Just like you, Gerald, with your sisters. You should see their friends and used to have crushes on their friends and everything. And they get fighting mad. And my baby brother always said, do not date anybody my age or 2 years younger. That was my grid. And my son is 38. So I give him that 4 year. For nobody, you have to. My actual thing is you at least have to be 45 for me to even consider you if I was single. And even when I told the little 32-year-old how old I was, he was like, well, you can still have friends. I'm like, no, I don't need no more friends.
He meant friends with special benefits.
Because then I showed him the ring. And he was like, we can't be friends. I'm like, honey, you don't want to see 6'5", 280 King talking about what friend are you? Because he knows all of my male friends. Ain't that right, JP?
That's right. He wasn't planning on seeing your husband. He's talking about special friends.
Special friends. But actually,
and your husband was not invited to that party.
He wasn't invited to the party.
No.
What about if he was tardy for the party? No. Don't be tardy for the party.
Oh my goodness.
But no, I just think that there is certain, and this is my own view. I just think there's certain lines we should not cross. And myself at 50 with a 20-year-old, I used to be a principal. And all the little boys used to look at me, and now since they think they're grown, they even reach out to me on Facebook, and I have to block them. I just think that there's just certain lines, and not to mention, I'm a middle-aged older American that I wouldn't even consider dating anyone in their 30s, barely in their 40s, just because of the conversation where we are in life. I mean, what literally could we do? Are we still PG-13?
We still look at Mr. Walker. We still PG-13. You got Mr. Walker nervous. He don't know what's gonna come out your mouth.
Because literally, it would only be one thing that a 20-year-old could do for me that a 50-year-old man, because the 50-year-old man, they're gonna need a little pill, and there wouldn't be nothing else. Literally, it wouldn't be. And then he probably couldn't even do it the right, because he hasn't had enough of knowledge to even understand a woman's body. And I'm through teaching. I don't even like teaching the kids how to wash the dishes, right? The grandchildren. I'm done with teaching.
Well,
and I'll be a student.
Of the 22-year-old?
No.
You don't want those lessons.
Well, I don't want those problems neither. Think of the problems.
Yeah. My initial response was, go for it and enjoy yourself and have a good time. And it's important that people have
a good time. I just said that, have a good time, didn't I?
And well, yes. And so initially I was like, he's 22. I would even see more struggles with it if it was a 20-year-old. I was thinking at 22, when I was feeling like, go ahead, date the 22-year-old. A 22-year-old
anyway. He don't want nothing serious.
Well, at 22, that is oftentimes, that's the age that a person is getting themselves, they're entering into their career. A person can exhibit some maturity at the age of 22. A person that's old enough to have graduated from college, completed military service duty, entering into a career. And so I was looking at it from that perspective. I don't think the bigger issue is the gap in age. It's the age of the younger person, because there is a big difference between a 22-year-old and even a 20-year-old. You know, a 20-year-old is still, you know, hazing people and practicing for step shows and things like that. If they're in college, a 22-year-old could be showing up at the architecture firm in a suit and designing buildings. And so I was looking at it from that, and we can go younger, because she could meet an 18-year-old. And what chapter in life would that person be in? What would they be bringing to the table? There's a big...
He must have mommy issues.
The 22-year-old, yeah, or the 18-year-old. And it's possible. It is possible if he exclusively dates older women.
Well, she better get her pocketbook ready. She better get her pocketbook ready.
Well, and if she's an established, you know, successful person. But I was just thinking, there's such a big difference between 18 and 20, 20 and 22. And then we have to remember that a person's prefrontal cortex isn't even fully developed until the age of 25. So his brain ain't even done developing at 22. How does she know that by the time he's 25 that he is not looking at things very differently? And so I was thinking about it from all of those different angles. At first I was like, go for it. So what? He's 22.
You said right. Have fun. Have fun.
Right. But
Stella got a groove back.
Well, Stella got a groove back. And if you 50 and he 22, you're going to be grooving. I was thinking.
Groovy time.
Here's something. I still agree with it. I still agree with going ahead and dating the 22-year-old. There are a few things that I suggest that she look out for. One, well, there's the maturity issue. And there is the chapters in life, because at 50, if she has already had kids and he's 22, if he has not
gonna have no kids,
that could be an issue. Because her kids might be fully grown, and at 22, he might be like, I want kids. That can be an issue. So if you are, for all you ladies out there, I'm all for you dating someone younger, but at some point you're going to have some real conversations about what that's going to look like and what they want out of life, because you've already lived through those chapters and you don't want to rob someone else from having those experiences.
You know what? I just want to say, I had some people to come into my office one day, and they were about to get married, and they sort of got upset with me because, you know, I just kept it so real. The young man was 22 years old, 22. And the woman, the young lady, stop it. She was 31. So we just talking about 22 and 30.